All right, so that's it. That's officially it for the career of Tua Tagovailoa in the National Football League as a quarterback, and that hopefully should be it for Mike McDaniel's midget reign of terror as a head coach in the NFL as well, especially for this Miami team. They're going to fall. They're going to drop yet another game, and this is almost becoming embarrassing. The Browns are one of the worst teams in football, and the Dolphins never even showed a sign, a flash, any sort of pulse whatsoever during the course of this game. Tua Tagovailoa is a fucking scrub. He is a fucking diminutive, left-handed, cream puff pea shooter-like fucking arm scrub fucking quarterback. He just sucks, man. It's really that simple, really that fucking easy to comprehend. The guy is horrible. There's nothing else you can say. He's on pace for over 20 interceptions. He's thrown 3 interceptions 2 games in a row. He just looks lost out there on the field week by week, and it begs the question, why is Mike McMoron, fucking Cuban drug lord looking midget, still starting this piece of shit quarterback? Don't know, honestly, and quite frankly, I don't care because I have no allegiance to this team. There's no point in me getting, mad because I'm not a fan of the Dolphins by any stretch of the imagination, but still it angers me because I want the Dolphins to be good because I live in Florida. It'd be cool, if maybe eventually I could go to a Dolphins game and see them when they're a good competitive football team, but no! Good things like that cannot happen because Mike McMoron midget, he is a fucking he's the worst coach ever. He is worse than Rich Kotite. He is way worse. His offense, the NFL's figured it out. The coordinators, the defensive coordinators of the NFL have figured his offense out so bad. And he's failed to realize this, but he's calling the same 4 plays out of the... What is the infatuation with this high school offense that worked for 1 year? It worked for 1 season. And the league figured it out in an instant, just like that. If I could snap, I would, but I can't, folks. I really can't. But McDaniel needs to go. He should have been fired week 1, the first week when they got blown out by Danny Pennies and the fucking Colts. That's when he should have been fired. But no, they stayed loyal to this scrub coach who is in over his head, who has not a clue what the fuck he's doing in the first place. And now they're seeing why they should have fired this absolute fucking incompetent moron in the first week of the season. Because the locker room's lost. Once again, as I said in a video like a month ago, he's lost the locker room. You can tell the players are talking shit about him, about how much of a diminutive fucking moron he is in the behind his back because he's such a fucking idiot. There's no point of standing up and sticking by him and defending him because there's nothing to be defended. He keeps trotting Tua Tagovailoa out there every week to be the starting quarterback, and he's throwing 3 interceptions a game. He literally is on pace for 23 fucking interceptions in this year. 23 interceptions in this season. Let that fact sink the fuck in. 20 plus interceptions. That is atrocious. So why are you showing any loyalty or allegiance to this scrub quarterback? I don't care if you're paying him $300 million. He's a $212 million quarterback in this league, and he can't get the job done on Sundays. So why is he being trotted out there like he's the guy? He ain't. Let it go. The shit's over. He sucks, and that's that. It's really that fucking simple to comprehend that this guy can't play anymore. He's not good. He can't stretch the field. That's one of his main problems, is his inability to stretch the fucking field. He absolutely fucking sucks at throwing deep. He can't throw deep. Everything is short. Everything is underneath. Everything is within 15 yards of the line of scrimmage. And that's not how you run an NFL offense. But McDaniel has gimmicked this offense up to where there's no such thing as stretching the field. Everything is intermediate short. And then there's like minimal to no running game. The running game's not existent because he hates running the ball. He doesn't want to run the ball. He's one of these new gen coaches, coordinators turned coaches who is just, if he had his way, he'd throw it 70 times a game because he's a fucking idiot. That's what Mike McMidget is. He's a fucking nincompoopic fucking idiot. That's exactly what the fuck he is. And it'll be nothing more than that in his coaching career. This should be the final ever. He shouldn't coach high school. He should never coach at any level of football again. This is not acceptable. Miami fans know it. I know it. And I don't know the first thing about the NFL. I'll be the first to tell you that. I don't know jack shit. But I know, at least I know, that this guy has jumped the fucking shark. He really, truly has. And there's no other way in putting it than he really has jumped the shark. This guy should have been fired a while ago. His play calls are the opposite of genius. He was supposed to be some guru. I hate that. I hate the word genius. I hate the word guru. He's none of those. He is a midget who has never done anything in his coaching career, and that's who he is. That's literally who this fucking guy is. And Tua, I already touched base on him in this video, but oh my, he throws it right to the other team. He throws late. He looks unconfident. No, he looks whatever the fuck the word is. He doesn't look confident throwing past 5 yards. He throws everything late. He's throwing into coverage. He's panicking under the first sign of duress. It is wild to me how McDaniel sees that type of quarterback play from Tua and decides, yes, this is the dude that is the future of the QB position for this team. You are literally on the hottest seat in football, and you are trotting him out there every fucking week. That is on coaching. That is on Mike McMoron. That is on you, midget boy. You did this to yourself. That's literally what it is a self-inflicted wound. Ain't gonna be healed. Matter of fact, it's getting worse. Because not only are you going to be fired, you're never gonna coach in the NFL again. Because who would want you after this? What idiotic fucking franchise in the National Football League would even touch you with a 25-foot pole after this atrocity, disgrace of a coaching tenure at this level? Certainly an NFL team wouldn't want you as a head coach, not as a coordinator, maybe as an analyst. Hey, maybe you could go coach high school. Maybe that's what you're equipped for, because you're not equipped to deal with grown men in an NFL locker room as a head coach of an NFL team. Maybe your high school mentality, once again, would work in high school, but your shit has been figured out. Listen, you run the same couple plays from the same few formations. You got that big Denny's menu play sheet, you don't use it. You call the same shit. And you wonder why your offense is blown up. You wonder why your offense ain't as good as it should be, right? One, your quarterback is butt cheeks. And two, your play calls are even fucking worse than that. They are super ass. And Mike McDaniel, I am going to award you the absolute honor and privilege that will be bestowed upon you in this video. You are the first super scrub head coach in the history of your worst coach ever. Has to be the worst coach I've ever seen. No leadership ability. Goes in the press conferences like he owns the joint. He doesn't. He literally don't own shit. He doesn't. He talks this big game, and he doesn't even talk a big game. He talks in riddles. He talks in fucking circles at these press conferences after the game, after his team loses every time. Talks in riddles, talks in circles, says nothing. Literally nothing at all to the media. And it's pathetic. The shtick has worn dry on the fan base of the Dolphins. The shtick's run dry across the league. And everybody now knows what McDaniel is. He is a clueless moron of a head coach who is about to be fired. That's it. He's done. You lost to the Browns. You lost to a 5'4" quarterback who has a weak arm. Dylan Gabriel ain't good. He's not good. Dylan Gabriel is a below average starter. That's his ceiling, is the 25 to 32 ranked starter in the league. He's not good. You made him look great during the course of this game, right? And it wasn't even their offense. I mean, Judkins was killing them the whole game. The defense was lifeless. They didn't care. The defense wasn't really the problem. It was Tua who would give them short fields and they could score. Because Tua's horrible, and McDaniel's allegiance to Tua at QB is even more horrible. This is a disgrace. The Miami fans deserve better. They deserve to see a competitive football team on Sundays. They don't deserve whatever the fuck this is, because this, quite frankly, is an embarrassment to the league, an embarrassment to this organization. By the way, the Dolphins have the only undefeated team in the history of the National Football League. And for the ever since that season in the 70s, they have literally accomplished nothing. They had Dan Marino, one of the best to ever play the quarterback position in the NFL. Never even won a Super Bowl championship because of no fucking help at all. This franchise has done nothing since the 1970s, the golden era of your franchise. You haven't done shit since. Because you hired failures of coaches like Mike McDaniel and expect them to lead you back to the promised land of the Super Bowl. They're not going to do that. This is not an innovative coach. This is not a creative coach. He was creative the first year, but then once people figured him out, he was just another guy, just another coach. And that's what he is. He's not even just another coach, because that would imply that by some stretch of the imagination, he is moderate or adequate at his job. He isn't. He's horrible. He's the worst coach ever. I really do believe this. He's the worst coach I've ever seen. I've seen so many... I saw Matt Eberflus last year for the Bears. Just do fucking nothing for the Bears. Help them lose football games. They lost so many games because of how idiotic Eberflus was. Eberflus looks like a elite Andy Reid-like coach compared to Mike McMoron. Because at least Eberflus had a bit of leadership. McDaniel clearly does not. That is not something that he is going to be known for. He looks like a Cuban drug lord, dresses like one as well, and gives these, once again, talks and riddles in the press conference. Nothing answers that amount to jack shit. And his allegiance to a scrub $200 million quarterback is the reason this team is losing on Sundays. So this will be the final ever game Mike McDaniel coaches probably ever in the NFL. I can't see any other team even thinking of picking this guy up. He will be a high school coach in give it a year or two. He will be in the high school ranks, guaranteed. He's worse than Rich Kotite. He's the worst coach ever. He's worse than Adam Gase. I mean, he's worse than anybody I've ever seen. He is the worst coach in the history of football. Well, not in the history of football, in the history of the NFL. Once again, there's other shitters I could be naming right now that just were so fucking in over the head that's not even funny. Right? Just disaster. Urban Meyer for the Jaguars. Urban fucking Meyer, who didn't even last like 7 games in the league, was way better than this nincompoop. Way better. I would have Urban Meyer now. Right now. Present day Urban Meyer wasn't coaching in years. Right now over this idiot known as Mike McDaniel. Maybe Urban Meyer would fluke into a win. Mike McDaniel couldn't win if he tried his hardest. Which I don't even think... I think he's given up at this point. There's no point in him trying because he knows his team is cooked. So yeah, that's it for the career of Mike McDaniel. Tua is a fucking piece of shit. Needs to be benched. They put Quinn Ewers in the game. He didn't look great, but it's his first ever action. Please put him out there next week and see what the guy has. You know what Tua is. He's a scrub. He's a backup. That's what he is. Let him go. Move on in the offseason and maybe try to, give Ewers a year and see if he can develop into anything special. If not, next year you can just draft a quarterback, right? That's it for this video, man. Thank you all for watching. This has been Mr. Truth, and this was nothing but the truth.